Reading Focus by Kylene Beers. What skills help you read myths and folktales? When you read myths and folktales, many events occur that invite you to make predictions as you read. As you read a story, it's helpful to summarize it as a reading check to draw conclusions about the characters and the outcomes of the story. Once you've read several stories, you'll be ready to make generalizations about myths and folktales. Making predictions. When you make predictions, you guess what will happen next. To make predictions as you read, you look for clues that foreshadow or hint at future actions. You try to connect those clues with past and present actions in the story. When you make predictions, you also draw on real life experiences that are related to the story's situation. Of course, many events that happen in myths and folktales don't happen in real life. However, what motivates characters to make certain choices and decisions most definitely does. In one myth, you will read King Midas and the Golden Touch. Midas is given the chance to choose anything he wants. To make a prediction about what he might choose, you would think about your prior experiences with myths. Think about similar stories you have read. Think about what you know about the character from how he acts and how he is described. Think about what people might do in real life. Once you make a prediction, be ready to adjust it as you learn more or as events in the story change. Summarizing. A summary is a short restatement of the major events or main ideas of a text. Here is the start of a summary of King Midas and the Golden Touch, retold by Pamela Oldfield. King Midas is very rich, but he is greedy and is not satisfied with what he has. One day, Midas helps a follower of the god Dionysus, who in return says Midas can have any gift he wants. A summary is much shorter than the original text. To summarize a myth or any literary text, you restate the main events. The tricky part of summarizing is deciding what to include and what to leave out. When you summarize a myth, be sure to include the following: title, author, the one who retells the myth, main characters, conflict, main events, resolution. Using a diagram like this one can help you summarize the main events in a myth or folktale you have read. Write 2 or 3 sentences in each box: beginning, middle, end. Drawing conclusions. Drawing conclusions is a part of reading any story. A conclusion is a general summing up of the specific details in a text. You think about the characters and decide what kind of people they are. You think about situations in the story and determine their possible consequences. You think about how a story turns out and whether the outcome seems fair or unfair. To draw sound conclusions from a story, base your conclusions on your own prior knowledge, experiences, and beliefs, details in the text. As you read each story, keep a list of the conclusions you draw. Making generalizations. A generalization is a broad statement that covers several situations. Generalizations are based on facts. Once you have read several myths and folktales, you will have experience and evidence for making generalizations about them. For example, after you read several poems in Collection 7, you might have made this generalization: many poems use sound effects such as rhyme, rhythm, and alliteration. However, be careful of making generalizations without knowing all the facts. If you read only a few rhyming poems and then make the generalization that all poems rhyme, you would be incorrect. To be valid, generalizations need to be based on all of the facts that you can gather. To make good generalizations, take notes as you read. Then use details from the story to support each generalization. Your turn. Apply reading skills. Number 1. Based on the title of the myth, King Midas and the Golden Touch, make predictions about the gift Midas chooses and why he wants it. 2. In a paragraph, write a summary of your typical school day. Use a chart like the one at the left to help you organize the main events. 3. Make a generalization about the kinds of stories you enjoy reading the most. Explain the facts that make your generalizations valid.